would realize that with average incomes in Indian households of about 10,000 to 15,000 rupees a month, it is well nigh impossible to afford high-end hair transplants. And this is the reason why the Turkish model has infiltrated the Indian market and comprises above 99% of the clinics and the way hair transplant surgery is practiced in India. In my clinic also, I realized that charging the costs that we did for the past 15 years, we were not able to cover a vast majority of Indians who cannot afford our practice, who came to us, went dejected to open up to this huge market. And to make up for the bad karma, we have opened our 5 Rivers hair transplant clinics, a Darling Buds affiliate clinic at a low cost, which functions at a different location at very, very affordable Indian rates. Now, what is the difference between these two clinics? Darling Buds Clinic on one hand, which is a premier clinic where I take pride in the fact that I myself operate on the patient and we do not take more than 1 case in a day, with the same team day after day, week after week and year after year. The 5 Rivers Clinic, on the other hand, is a variation of the Turkish model, and this is what we are going to discuss today. What is the difference between the American model of hair restoration surgery and the Turkish model of hair restoration surgery, and how in our practice we have adapted it in the last 1 year, and how both these clinics complement one another. The landscape of hair restoration clinics in Turkey has evolved into a global hub, and all of us have to take lessons from it because everybody cannot afford Western rates of hair transplant. At the most, a lower middle income group patient will be able to sacrifice 3 months' salary and not more. So in this video, we are going to discuss the Turkish model and where it stands as compared to the American model of hair transplants, and whether your choice of choosing either the Turkish model or the American model will have a reflection on the safety of your procedure and on the quality of successful outcomes of hair restoration surgery. That is a good, appealing hair transplant result. We will discuss this now, so hang on. The past 15 years have shaped the hair transplant industry significantly through market pressures, competition, ethics, fellowship of the ISHRS, and individual doctors' aspirations, and at times human greed. The parallels between character, reputation, and the foundations of medical practice are undeniable. The choice between the American model or the Turkish model can very significantly affect the reputation of a clinic, impacting patient trust and loyalty. So what does a person do if he cannot afford the American model? While we discuss the American model and the Turkish model, please note that these two terms are used in this video euphemistically, as they are in common usage in the hair transplant metaverse. They reflect two diverse ways of doing business in medical practice in hair transplant industry, and have nothing to do with skills being better or worse in one country in comparison to the other. For human character, especially human compassion, honesty, ethics at work, and even human greed are not defined by man-made geographical boundaries. I personally know of some clinics in Turkey that do hair transplants comparable to that done in the best clinics in America. Very good work following the American model. And then I also know of clinics in the United States of America who follow the Turkish model and produce bad results case after case. Human fallibility and flexibility cuts across geographical boundaries. It is a given that a surgical procedure needs to be done by the surgeon. We cannot delegate it to a technician or a non-medical person. And this holds true in every nation. The rules and regulations governing medical practice are the same almost everywhere in the world. However, what the ISHRS refers to as the black market is ruling today the hair loss industry. And the black market doesn't exist only in Turkey or in third world countries. It also exists in the United States of America and in Europe. I myself am a plastic surgeon and have been in practice for almost the past 17 years. I do all the procedures myself. I do 1 case in a day with the same team in the same clinic. I do not have multiple clinics running at the same time because the surgeries that I do, I have to do them personally. Nor do I visit other clinics to do hair transplants for them. But recently, I have started keeping some time for patients who cannot afford a costly hair transplant in a standalone clinic, and therefore we have set aside 2 days every week for low-cost hair transplants. The only thing is, which we're going to discuss in this video, but in the last 1 year, I have slightly changed this philosophy because I could not cater to the market which cannot afford my practice. And to cater to this market, I have set aside 2 days every week in which I do low-cost hair transplants at rock bottom rates, and I will discuss with you what are the costs and how I run the 5 Rivers Clinic for hair transplants. Honestly speaking, frankly so, You can also see this as an adaptation to increasing competition in the field of hair restoration surgery, which is happening all over the world. It is not only in India. So every clinic is adapting as it goes forwards, and so am I. And I will tell you how I have adapted in a short while from now. Now let's compare these two models, the Turkish model and the American model. The American model is steeped in medical ethics. It informs the patient in great detail about whether they are fit for the hair transplant or they are not fit for the hair transplant. It informs them who will be doing their hair transplant, who will be the primary care physician, what they should expect before the procedure, what they should expect during the procedure, and how the follow-up is going to be in the next few months or even years. Peer-accepted protocols are followed in the American model. Protocols that are in keeping with regulations of federal medical authorities. This sentiment resonates very deeply in the medical field, where practitioners guide their patients, their clients, through transformative journeys. The American model places great emphasis on leadership. Leadership by the physician, forging a direct and influential doctor-patient relationship. However, the typical Turkey model will give you what you want, not what you should get. The doctor here is not the sole arbiter. If at all there is a doctor attending to you. The patient can unreasonably push his way through hairline design and coverage in a single session. Large number of grafts are usually done, even up to 10,000 grafts in a session. Pandering to unrealistic expectations and holding back on vital information from the patient is a business model used to generate more moolah. Untrained staff can be requisitioned to cut down on costs, since the process of finishing the work at hand in lesser period of time, because many patients are waiting outside, weighs heavily on the clinic management. Because the turnover has to be fast, many a times at the cost of providing successful outcomes. We all know that. The clinic in the Turkish model will rarely, if ever, have the face of a doctor, leave alone a doctor doing the procedure himself. And therefore, the advantage of this is that the clinic does not have a reputation to protect. Such clinics keep changing the names and the doctors and their team at the drop of a hat. Hence the epithet, though derisive, the hair mill industry has stuck to them and it's difficult for them to shake it off. On the other hand, the doctor practicing hair transplant under the American model in his standalone practice has a reputation to protect, and hence is not guided merely by revenue generation. It is very important to understand this fact. This doctor also comes very strictly under the ambit of federal medical laws that the Turkish model has cunningly and very cleverly circumvented, evaded. So amid this flourishing hair transplant industry, two paradigms emerge. The doctor-run clinic that does exclusive hair transplants under the direct care and direct involvement of the doctor, and due to the costs involved, this may not be affordable to the majority of the population. And when patients come seeking affordable hair transplants, these clinics cannot afford lower costs because the operational costs are pretty high. They cannot afford to give the best of care, the best of attention, and the best of follow-up to patients seeking affordable hair transplants, which the Turkish model clinics can. The Turkish model clinics are famous for rock-bottom rates, and not only rock-bottom rates, free stays in 5-star hotels, free tours, and many a times free travel from your home country into the country where the Turkish model is being practiced. These two approaches not only shape patient experience, but significantly impact the cost of hair transplant. A standalone doctor clinic encapsulates the vision, personal touch, and expertise of the medical doctor. Rooted in specialized knowledge, these clinics are often associated with the name of the leading physician, emphasizing their dedication to the craft, to the skill of hair transplant surgery. These hair doctors pour their skill, their passion into every detail, from initial consultation to post-operative care. The atmosphere in the clinic reflects their individual approach, creating an environment of trust and personalized care. Perfection here is the key. Clients get drawn to these clinics not just for the procedure, but for the assurance of being treated by a skilled and a caring physician. The need to maintain continuity over the period of hair loss for many years is also a felt need of hair loss sufferers. These clinics, these doctor-run clinics, produce standardized results because the doctor is involved in the process himself. The doctor who works with the same team day after day under the same roof will surely provide better care and better results in hair transplant. The main drawback of the Turkish model is that they do not give standardized results because there is not one person doing hair transplants in all the cases. You might get a good result on one day, but the patient who is unlucky with an unlucky team the next day may get a horrible result. An over-harvested donor, a hair transplant that he may regret for the rest of his life. The fact that a hair transplant is a skill-based procedure is never raised in the Turkish model. And this shortcoming is cloaked by laying undue stress on trademark technique and other sweet talk laced with gentle coercion through discounts and offers. The ability to extract follicular units in one piece using the smallest punch possible without damaging adjacent hair, preventing shock loss in the donor which has limited resources, and making slits in the recipient area in high density in an orientation and angulation mimicking nature are skills which are learned over years of dedication and hard work. These cannot be replicated overnight, and this skill set is not a product that is universal and easily obtained. Surgical prowess is specific to the surgeon who will be doing the hair transplant. This cannot be replicated. And these are the skills which have the greatest reflection, the greatest bearing on eventual outcomes, the safety of the procedure, and the hair transplant results that you can hope to obtain. This timeless insight underscores the significance of patient experience and patient care. The American model, rooted in personalized attention, seeks to create positive and lasting impressions on patients who visit these clinics for their hair restoration surgery. It is also true that staffing dynamics in doctor-run clinics, standalone doctor-run clinics, tend to be more intimate, characterized by a closely knit team led by the practicing physician. This personalized setting fosters a very strong patient-doctor relationship where clients receive hands-on medical care from the medical expert who's heading the team directly. The meticulous attention to detail and tailored customized treatment plans are an essential component of the American model. The expertise that the patient receives, along with the warmth of these patient-doctor relationships, contribute to customer loyalty, often resulting in long-lasting connections that go beyond mere transactions. And this close-knit environment can engender newer approaches as the team collaborates to innovate, to experiment, to invent newer techniques, newer processes, newer protocols to better their techniques and skills day after day. Another hallmark of the American model is that there is a very low attrition rate in the team. Unlike in the Turkish model, where team members keep changing on a day-to-day basis, the team is always in a state of flux. So there is no continuity. If there is no continuity, this will have a negative bearing on the outcomes from hair transplant surgery. In terms of innovation, doctor-run clinics may have a more nimble ability to adapt and integrate newer advancements in their hair restoration technique. Lead physicians can rapidly incorporate cutting-edge methodologies into their practice, enhancing the quality of care. Also take the example of a hairline. All hairlines are not meant to be the same. Every person, according to his facial structure, according to his future objectives and goals, according to his age, has to have a hairline which is best suited to his profile and to his evolving balding pattern. But the Turkish model clinic invented the laser hairline designer. All hairlines for them are the same. Just shine a light to the forehead and trace out the beam and you have a hairline. They are all, after all, standardized hairlines. They have standardized hairlines, they have standardized protocols, and they have standardized canned responses to all the questions that you may ask now, during, or after the procedure. There is no variation at all, no individual variation from one patient to the other. A doctor-run clinic is much more flexible and feels that the hairlines have to be different for different people, the coverage has to be different for different people, the yield of grafts from the scarce scalp donor and bodily donors will naturally be different from one patient to the other. The impact of these two models on the cost of hair transplant is substantial, and this perhaps is the only advantage that the Turkish model has over the American model. And it is the reason why it is so popular amongst hair loss sufferers today. Hair loss sufferers who either are not well researched or who cannot afford a standalone practice of repute. These clinics offer very low prices because of the economies of scale. They do so many cases, 10, 20 cases in a day. But this does come with a trade-off. Trade-off in terms of the extent of personalization, the anonymity of the doctor who's doing the procedure for you, the person who does the harvesting, the person who does the slit making. It all has a bearing on the outcome of the procedure. Doctor-run clinics are always pricier than the Turkish model because of their specialized focus, attention to detail, the doctor doing most of the procedure himself, his personalized approach, and a strict limit on the number of cases that can be done in one day. Most of these clinics, the American model, do just one case in a day. And therefore the fees, which to many may seem little high, it reflects the undivided attention throughout the day of a medical expert and his team, a personalized plan for surgical hair restoration. And now coming back to where we started, how has this shaped my practice in the last 1 year? I'll be back. Succumbing to great market pressure because everybody could not pay the fees that are charged for my standalone Darling Buds clinic, where I do the procedure myself. All the surgical steps are done by me and me alone. I have in the last 1 year, and especially over the last 3 months, initiated what I call the Turkish model with an American flavor. Now, Five Rivers Clinic is an affiliate of the Darling Buds Clinic. It functions 2 days in a week where we do more than one case in a day. There is no difference in the technique used. There is no difference in the protocol that we use. It's the same as at Darling Buds. The only difference is, instead of me harvesting, it is done by a junior. The entire supervision of the whole process, including the hairline design, is done by me personally. That is the only difference. So this clinic, Five Rivers Clinic, runs only on Tuesdays and Fridays. And rest of the 3 days, I'm operating a Darling Buds Clinic, where we adhere to a promise: one doctor, one patient, one clinic, and one team. Ever since we opened the Five Rivers Clinic, a clinic based on the Turkish model, but with an American flavor, we have been able to reach out to the average Indian community and do the hair transplants. And this has increased our market base. By following this mix of the American model as well as the Turkish model, this allows me to offset the risks of my practice, the risks of doing just one case in a day, and it also allows me to consolidate my Darling Buds approach of just doing one case in a day. Though I do not do the harvesting, and in most cases I do not do the slip making myself, the overall responsibility lies on my shoulders still. I am responsible for the results that the patient gets. The whole procedure is supervised by me, and the team that does the procedure is on my payroll. They are not vagabond hair technicians who come on day-to-day basis, and therefore even in Five Rivers Clinic, I have been able to standardize protocols, to standardize results with happy outcomes. This sentiment reflects the adaptability, the flexibility, and innovation required in the medical field. Both the Turkish model and the American model sees unique opportunities catering to diverse patient preferences and needs. To round it all up, in brief, the distinction between a doctor-run clinic following the American model and a clinic which is following the Turkish model transcends mere operational models, extending into the core of the patient experience. Whereas the American model thrives on expertise, on personalized care, and the physician-patient relationship, the Turkish model, on the other hand, capitalizes on affordability, number one, and accessibility, number two. Both models cater to different preferences, mostly dictated by the budget set aside by the patient and individual risk-taking ability, which is mostly guided by the amount of money you can spare for the hair transplant. This quote from Adam Smith, the famous economist, emphasizes and exemplifies the competition between different models, and here related to the hair transplant industry. This competition leads to better services, better innovation, and better patient to solve the same problem, provides the patient with a choice, and encourages clinics to continuously improve the services to cater to evolving demands. In conclusion, the choice between the American model and the Turkey model extends beyond operational strategies, embodying philosophical, ethical, and patient-centric considerations. Success, character, leadership, specialization, knowledge, empathy, and adaptability collectively shape the dynamic landscape of hair restoration clinics the world over. This dialogue between these two models, the Turkish model and the American model, resonates and emphasizes the profound impact of medical practices on individuals' lives, individuals' well-being, and individual requirements. Thank you for watching, and if you have any question about my two clinics that I run, let me know. Leave a comment in the comment section below and I'll be there to help you. And for those who haven't subscribed yet, do subscribe. It's your involvement on the channel that keeps the channel going. Have a nice day and God bless you.